Come manifest your best life with 190 Vision.
Our topic today, hon,
Yes.
is about what people do when they feel maybe upset, challenged, frustrated, down. What do people normally do from your experience? Or let's say, for example, you're feeling down in the past, not now, right? But in the past, when you would feel down, what would you do?
Eat chocolate.
Okay. So does that mean that now that we're married, every time you eat chocolate it's because you're feeling down?
Oh no, I don't eat chocolate the way I used to eat chocolate. When I would feel down, needed to pick me up, chocolate made me happy. So I'd eat chocolate.
What do you mean? What do you mean by you needed a pick-me-up?
Needed to help raise myself up, feel better.
Oh, to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you eat the chocolate.
Yes.
Did you feel better once you were done?
Well, I enjoyed the chocolate. I don't know if I felt better, but I definitely enjoyed the chocolate.
So you didn't pay attention to whether or not it worked?
No, I just noticed that's what I would do.
How much chocolate would you eat?
This is like a confession box.
No, I'm just curious.
A lot of chocolate. I always have chocolate candy bars hidden in different places and just eat them.
Why would you hide them?
So that I knew where they were and I could have them.
But
so other people wouldn't get them.
Oh, so you were living at home with your parents? Or
It didn't matter where I was. Even in the office, I had them hidden in my desk. Oh. I always had chocolates, even in the car. Even until, several years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I would hide chocolate in the car.
Well, I remember
and the
teasing you about that.
Yes, because I would hide it around the house too, even when the kids were younger.
And I asked you, why are you hiding the chocolate? I remember asking you that. Why do you feel?
Because if I didn't, then the kids would eat it.
Wow, you didn't want your kids to eat the chocolate?
Not when I needed it. Selfishness.
I never thought about that.
With me.
Folks, this is 10 years ago.
Or longer.
I did not know that's why you did it. I just kept asking, why are you hiding the chocolate?
And I didn't want to tell you in front of, because you'd always ask me in front of the kids. No, so say, well, I don't want the kids eating the chocolate. You buy them chocolate. I don't. I buy chocolate for myself.
Wow. So we would go and we would buy sometimes 20 bars of chocolate.
When you did that, I made sure the kids always ate it. But when you weren't around, I would buy my own stash of chocolate and I would hide it. And then you or someone else would find it. Oh, man, I have to change my hiding spot now.
Now, was that because you weren't feeling good?
Right. That was before I embraced my journey and you embraced your current journey. Yes. So I would use it as my pick-me-up, as I call it.
Interesting. So now, to me, okay, so then other people do what? Some people work out, like myself, right?
You go exercise.
If I feel tired or back then when I would feel tired.
Or stressed or...
I would definitely go exercise. Mm-hmm. Play soccer all the time. Mm-hmm. Now I don't really feel stressed, but I might need a break from working all day, so then we just go somewhere. We just go. I say, come on, let's go out, right? We just go.
Right.
And that's what we do. Mm-hmm. Now, I guess put it this way. As far as exercising, I'd say that's a healthy habit, right?
Right.
Or is that just my perspective?
It might be your perspective. Some people may not see that as a healthy habit.
Even though I'm going to exercise and all that. I know that for our daughter, she plays the guitar or she goes and plays the piano.
Right. Music is her outlet.
Right. So, there you go, outlet. So it's a way to just get your balance back. So that's pretty good. Or they draw, right?
Art.
Sometimes they do
People
the
use
artwork
art.
together. So those are the I'd say, in my opinion, the more productive ones, unless if they're drawing pictures of negative things like suicide. I've seen that where kids are drawing some interesting pictures. Now let's go to the other side where, for example, the chocolate. You said you were overweight. Could that be why you're overweight?
When we first
I don't
met,
think chocolate does that.
yes, candy can do that. Sugars, or processed sugars, processed foods, which is what I ate a lot of before you and I started dating or anything else. And yes, I thought I was overweight. I was getting chubby.
And that was from
Definitely not healthy.
eating the candies.
Not just the candy, it was I ate a lot of fast food too. But that was more so because of time. I didn't have time to cook, so I just go grab some fast food. But anyway.
So we're focusing on when...
But some people use fast food as a treat. They're not feeling good. They've had a rough day. Oh, I'm going to go get myself a burger from the drive-thru.
Okay.
So people use food as a way to pick themselves up, you know?
Okay, right.
They portray on television a lot the people who go through breakups, especially women. Oh, I'll grab a couple tubs of ice cream and be over at your house to console you.
I've heard that one, right.
Right.
And it's always the whole container that they show
big containers of ice cream. Yes.
People actually do that, though.
People do that.
And if you're eating that a lot, late at night, you definitely...
That's not very healthy
weight, right?
for the body. But yes, people use food in that way to help themselves feel better.
But do they really feel better? It might be temporary, if anything, right?
Right.
Because
it just tastes really good.
Right. Okay. Now, to continue with this, there are also individuals then that I've met individuals when I ask them, why do you smoke? Have you met individuals that smoke?
Yes.
Have you ever asked them why they do it?
Yes.
What have they told you?
Well, most of the individuals I've talked to said they just started when they were younger because it looked cool, and then it just became a habit. And then there are individuals who say they smoke because it helps them calm down and de-stress. It lets them clear their mind. So there are many different reasons, but mostly now they continue doing it because they say it helps them to calm down, relax.
Right. So if you notice, that's also, as you term it, an outlet.
Right.
Or a pick-me-up, even though they're actually they're calming down, but I guess they're getting balanced. Is that what pick-me-up means? Like,
yes,
okay.
Sure.
You're,
Making yourself feel better.
Okay. So now that's that as far as the smoking. Then we have alcohol.
Right.
We're just watching something last night about that. Remember with the police officer, he came home.
Oh, yes.
You want to talk about that?
The first thing he did, well, he didn't even do it. His wife just immediately grabbed a beer from the refrigerator and gave it to him.
And then she
said, rough day at the office.
Exactly.
It's like, so people do that. They associate, if I've had a rough day, I need to go get a drink. Sometimes they say a stiff drink, which is the hard liquor.
What's hard liquor?
Like whiskey, brandy, the vodka or things like that. It's really
what's so
strong.
hard about it?
It's very strong alcohol, stronger than beer.
It has
or
more
wine.
alcohol than
Yes.
right. The alcohol content is high, right? I remember doing that in chemistry. We created some of those things. We had a guy that we created ethanol.
Okay.
So which is alcohol. And he drank it. We found him next day, passed out on the floor. He drank like a whole bottle. Anyway, the college days.
But that can become a habit that is really not very healthy at all for the person.
Well, from our perspective. Right.
Right.
And so then the other one is recreational drugs. That, again, someone, for whatever reason.
Well, nowadays it's not even recreational drugs. Individuals will find someone who has painkillers and steal their painkillers or take their painkillers because, what is it called? Opioids?
Opioid.
It puts you in a state of euphoria. You don't feel anything.
So why would someone not want to feel anything?
Because they were feeling bad and stressed
That's
and
correct.
something else.
So if you notice again, it's an outlet, right?
Right.
Now, normally, the average person, when an average person doesn't feel well, and it could be for whatever reason, right? But the person doesn't feel well. What does the person normally do from your experience?
If they don't feel well, just emotionally or physically?
They don't feel well. What would they do?
They try to find a way to make themselves feel well. Go get an over-the-counter medication, maybe go see a doctor or some therapist.
That's correct. So I'm trying to draw a correlation between the two.
Okay.
All right. So if you notice someone doesn't feel well, they go, oh, let me call the doctor. Maybe I should go see the doctor. Oh, let me go to the pharmacy and pick up something or ask them what I can get for this feeling, right? To get this feeling out of the way. But then there are other individuals that do things differently, like myself. If I feel like, okay, I feel out of sorts, let's get a soccer ball. Let's go do something. So they correlate. All right. So some individuals want to go to a doctor. Some want to go to a chiropractor or some specialist, health specialist, if they feel that will help. If they're feeling pain, they might want to go to a massage therapist or one of those Reiki masters, right?
Right.
Or they might decide, well, to deal with this pain, I have to get some Valium, which is painkiller.
Okay.
Right? And of course, from there, that could become addictive. So here's the question. Our tendency to find a solution to make ourselves feel good. If we're doing that, as in calling a doctor, and every time we feel out of sorts, we call a doctor, that's considered normal, right?
Right.
But if we decide to go drink alcohol because we don't feel good, and we do it as often as this other person that calls a doctor very frequently, how is that considered?
An addiction.
But in each case, it's a habit that we've created.
Right.
So why is it that one is considered all right and the other one not so good?
I think because one turns into an addiction, the other one doesn't. Or what can be considered an addiction? Because of I don't really have an answer for that, I guess.
Right. Because think about it. If someone keeps calling a doctor, isn't that addiction? I mean, is that healthy?
I don't think it's healthy, no.
But society doesn't look at it that way.
Right.
And that's why it's not something that people talk about that much, right? I know individuals that they pretty much call the doctor's office as soon as they don't feel well, or they want to call the doctor's office as soon as they don't feel well. Well, that's a habit, just like the other one is a habit. So what determines a habit? I'd say something that someone does on a frequent basis. It's not whether we see it as good or bad. It's just something that they do in response to something they're experiencing. And they do it frequently because of this frequent experience that they have. So why are we talking about habits then? Because in society, they're labeled as good or bad.
Okay.
And if they're not labeled as bad, then as far as someone is concerned, it's okay to do that. And if it's labeled as bad, then that's something that's looked down upon and it's not encouraged, right? So, for example, bad habits, what are they according to society?
Maybe someone who bites their fingernails, someone who drinks alcohol, who smokes, takes drugs.
Especially those, right?
Right, especially those. Yeah.
If they eat a lot of food when they don't feel.
Right.
Right?
Excessive eating.
On the other side, good habits are
Exercising, taking care of your body.
Maybe not eating too much food.
Right, being particular about what you eat. Going to the doctor for checkups and making sure you call the doctor.
So here's a question for you. Is it possible, though, for example, being particular about what you eat, that you could wind up not eating much.
Yes.
And what happens then?
Then that could be labeled like anorexia or bulimia
Exactly.
or
It goes
one of
the
those
other way.
eating disorders.
Goes the other direction, right?
Right.
But
right.
it takes a while to get there, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right. Or you might decide, I'm not really too keen on a lot of foods, but I'd rather go with the supplements. Do you know people that spend a lot of time consuming supplements, but not really food?
Yes.
Right? But then doctors encourage them to do that. They don't tell them, don't do that.
Right.
Is that something healthy from your opinion?
In my opinion, no.
Why is that?
Because, well, if we get into the biological processes of the body doesn't really break all that down and use it properly. It really just goes through your system, and
Right.
it's not helpful to the body. You're better off eating foods.
So how do you, here you are, you're not feeling well, and we've gone through these different examples of, okay, here's the healthy stuff, here's the not so healthy stuff based on society.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do your best to balance that so at least you know you're on the right track, that you're not going to the extremes on either one, in your opinion and from your experience?
Well, that's challenging because you have to really monitor yourself and really determine what's best for your body, because everybody's physical body is different.
Well, is it that challenging?
It can be for some people.
But that's what I said from your experience.
From my experience, for me, I just paid attention to how my body responded to different things. So I cut out supplements and I eat whole foods. And when I say whole, I mean like not the processed stuff. So that has helped me.
Well, I was hoping that you were going to talk about your journey with 190 Vision. And
Okay.
how it's helped you. Because
Okay.
That's why we do these videos, right?
Right. Well, I didn't know if you were done with the whole explanation
Okay.
process, but the decrees have helped me a lot to stay balanced and to know what is best for me just by applying all the tools that I've been given.
Okay, when you say decrease, what are you referring to?
Like saying the violet flame decree to help me stay balanced emotionally so that I don't want to run and go get a bar of chocolate if I feel out of sorts and want that pick-me-up, as I called it.
Okay, so let's say you're feeling down or frustrated, depressed, or whatever it is. What do you do?
I say the violet flame decree and let you know as well, so you can check me.
Well, people don't know me, but, so you said a violet flame decree, and how
Yes.
long do you say it for?
Until I feel better. It could be for a minute, it could be 10 minutes, it could be for an hour. I just keep saying it until I realize, I'm feeling better now.
So what you're saying is that you went from turning to the chocolate as your solution, as your pick-me-up, to turning to the violet flame as your pick-me-up.
Yes.
Do you think that would work for anyone else?
Yes.
Why?
Why do I think that? Because we've suggested that to other individuals through 190 Vision, and they responded with how it's helped them.
So literally, with everything we've said here, as far as go find this outlet, find an outlet. One other option is to just use the violet flame as an outlet.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, what else? I mean, just saying the violet flame alone is not good enough.
No, I mean, it is good enough for some people, but for others, there are more tools. They want to learn more and grow more. So through working with 190 Vision, they are given more that will help them.
So here we are. What we're saying is, okay, here's your first tool, right?
Right.
And every time you feel like you want to go do something that maybe is not too productive for yourself, or you feel like, okay, I don't want to take this alcohol anymore. I want to reduce the amount. Okay, say the violet flame.
Right. Let us know. Then say the violet flame.
But that's just the beginning.
Right.
Because that helps you kind of release the negativity that's around you. But there's more to it, because now you also have to work on the way you think, right?
Yes.
And then you said something about, well, how do you track How do you listen to your body? How do you track that what you're doing is right? Well, the violet flame helps, but then there are other things you can do, which we don't have to share here. But if they ask for help, we can provide those things to them.
Yes.
So instead of turning to all these other substances or foods for that answer, at least they can start with the violet flame for now. Start a new habit is the point.
Right.
And that habit is turn to the violet flame instead of whatever you consider your pick-me-up for now. For the things that are not considered beneficial by society, right? Or maybe you don't consider them beneficial either, which would be nice.
Right.
You want to add anything else to this?
The violet flame that I'm speaking of, the violet flame decree, we have a video about that. It's also on Spotify, so you can look that up. And I highly recommend that you experience it for yourself. So just implement it, start doing it, especially when you are conscious of, oh, I'm wanting to go and get that chocolate bar. Just instead of grabbing that chocolate bar, say the violet flame. And then tell us about your experience.
Form a new habit, right?
Yes.
Now, the recording is also on the website, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You want to tell them where they can find that?
It's under downloads.
Right. It will be free.
Hard to remember.
It's
a free tab, and then it's under downloads.
Right. And you can download it. That way you can listen to it because it has a specific tempo. And so by having the recording, you download it, listen to the tempo, and then say it with the tempo. It's a very simple decree to say.
Right.
But we'd like you to prove to yourself that you, with the help of the violet flame decree, can change your habit. Make it something more productive.
Right.
You know, close it out?
Sure. Be sure to give it a try and let us know what your experience is. We're happy to help you on your journey. Remember to subscribe and like this YouTube video or Spotify podcast. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others who are on a similar journey. Get help by visiting our website, 190vision.com, then click on the Help Me tab. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the Donate button, which is located at the bottom of each page of our website.